Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the remake of Dune. So the Dennis Villeneuve remake of Dune. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, it's an 80-20% chance that YouTube won't notify you. So you can hit that bell, but who knows if it actually works or not. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I put up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media up there, all the links to my pages as well. So, like this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. With that said, it's kind of hard to do a spoiler-free version of this. If you've seen the David Lynch movie that came out in the 80s, uh, you kind of know what you're getting into. But spoiler-free version, a young farm boy takes over the family business, but in the meantime, he may become the messiah to some other people on a faraway planet. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And yeah, yeah, that's really about all I could say. Spoiler free on that one. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard not to. I know I said I'd do a spoiler free version in the in the description of this video. It's really hard to, quite honestly. So that's about as much as I'm going to do. Spoiler free version. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the movie. If you have not seen the movie, that's fine. Come on, you can actually stay around or you can come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. I'm giving you enough time to hit pause, stop, whatever you want to do. However you want to do this, it's up to you. Okay. Okay. Mork says I missed the spoiler-free part thanks to the ads. I can rerun that spoiler-free part for you if you like, or you just hit the rewind button, one of the two. Um, Philip the Ademic says, "All I see is an Atreides I want to kill." Okay. Uh, the preview picture looks like an enormous butthole. Uh, um, So the first thing people are going to ask is, okay, it's in theaters. It's also on HBO Max. Do you need to see it in theaters? That depends. Do you have a big screen TV? If you have a 65-inch screen TV or bigger, and you have a good surround sound system, and I mean good by 7.5 or higher, maybe even with some Dolby Atmos speakers, that kind of stuff, then no, you don't need to go to the theater to see this. There's literally 4 scenes that I believe are shot in IMAX, and those are the biggest scenes out of the movie. Honestly, having watched movies for a long, long time, most of my life, I can honestly say, Mork says I will see it in the theaters just because of the audio, because of the brown note noise, the because there's a lot of brown note noise going on there. Um, yeah. Thanks for that Zimmer, and his brown note noise that keeps going on there. Uh, DBith57 said, I watched it on my phone with headphones. It was fine. Exactly. That was how it was intended to be watched, was on your flip phone, your Nokia flip phone with headphones on. Yeah. Um, Mark says, I did see it in HBO Max. Yeah, I saw it in HBO Max as well. Um, so without gilding the lily any further, I didn't fall asleep during it. That's a good thing, right? I didn't fall asleep during it. But also I was really bored to tears with this. This was it's a remake. It feels like a remake. And of course, there's no getting around it being a remake because it's based on the book. That being said, if you're looking at the remake of the Lynch film, it's basically the first hour of David Lynch's version of Dune, with a few sprinkled stuff in there, some prettier people, and some better special effects. That's what this is in a nutshell. And yeah, I honestly I found it kind of devoid of life, to tell you the truth. It felt very sterile, very kind of boring. And yeah, at one point I know I got up and I went into the kitchen, grabbed a couple of things, whiskey, I believe, and heroin. And no, no, I was out of heroin. That's right. So it's just the whiskey. Um, and yeah, it's 2.5 hours of it's the first hour of the Lynch version stretched to 2.5 hours. That being said, is it worth your time? It depends. Again, uh, are you a Dune fan? Are you a book fan? If you're the book fan, most likely you're going to enjoy this because, from what I understand, it's more faithful to the book. I haven't read the book. And before anybody jumps on me in the comment sections that people are coming in just because, that aren't regular viewers and say you don't know shit, granted, I haven't read the book. Um, yes, that's great. This is my opinion of this. If you don't like it, make your own opinion. That's great. Make another YouTube channel and shout your opinion out there. That's pretty much what this all is about. It was not for me, is what it was. It was it was kind of dull. It really not kind of, it was dull. Yeah. Philip Demick says, "Isn't the subwoofer supposed to shake the entire building when the worms move?" Asking for a friend. No, but it is supposed to make your bowels want to go and release themselves. Is what's supposed to happen. That is what's supposed to happen when that happens. There. Mork says it's boring because nothing happens. Literally, it's all just set. Yes, it is just set up. So going into the spoilers version of this, it really is setup. And when Zendaya says, at the very end there, this is just the beginning, and I'm like, and here is where we're going to end Act One, uh, and I just started laughing about it because I knew exactly where the ending was going to be because they literally freaking announce it. Um, the things I could have done without were the Enya moments where Paul is supposed to be seeing his dreams and whatnot, but they actually look more like an Enya commercial or an Enya video, if you will. And I was like, well, that seems kind of out of place. It just kind of didn't mix with the rest of the tone of the movie. I was like, all right, sure. Um, and then you know what it was? It really was what it felt like to me is it felt like still scenes. Uh, So an animatic, by the way, when you're doing a movie, and I think I've explained this before, is you take the storyboards and you do temporary voices, for the dialogue and everything. And then what you do is you take the storyboards and you time it out and you see how it's going to be with the storyboards and the voices. And you see how the movie's going to play out. And that way you can remove scenes, if you will, or add scenes or alter scenes, however you want to do it, things like that. That's what this felt like. This felt like an animatic where you had static pictures and you had talking. And yes, even during the action scenes, what few there were of them. And that's kind of what bothered me is it again when I say it's lifeless, it's there was no movement to this. For a motion picture, it was very still. And that was kind of, I think, not the point. I know that might have been the point for him, for Villeneuve, but for me, I like a little motion in my pictures, my motion pictures. So, and yes, Marks, it was just announced today that part two, so Dune 2, as I'm calling it, the Sandworm Boogaloo, My favorite though was actually a friend of mine had actually posted on on my Facebook page and said Dune 2, The Legend of Gurney's Gold, which is now my favorite title of that. Uh, and I want that to be it, the Legend of Gurney's Gold, which would just be awesome. But yes, it has been confirmed. It is coming October 20th, 2023. So there you have it. Um, yeah, yeah. And I agree with you more because the worm does look like an enormous butthole. It really does. And I'm not the only person who said that. You're not the only person who has said that. There's a lot of people that have said that. But again, it doesn't take away from the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie was just lackluster as far as I'm concerned. This was not a blockbuster movie. It didn't feel like it to me. Yes, I know I was watching it at home, but even if you've missed a blockbuster movie in the theaters and you watch it later on when it releases on DVD or in on cable or something like that, you still feel that excitement when you're watching it on a big screen TV with surround sound and stuff like that. This one, I didn't feel that at all. Nothing at all on this one. Philip Adamic says, "Who can say where the plot goes when scenes go forever?" Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, this is just kind of dragged out for no good reason, honestly. There was some stuff that was added in there. I felt like there were snippets of other movies that this was taken from and put in there. Um, what else? I mean, at one point, I thought they were going to explain how the whole mechanism worked of commerce, in detail at one point. And thank God they didn't, because they didn't go the episode, Star Wars Episode One track on that one. They almost did, but luckily they avoided that. And yeah, it just there was a lot of stuff missing from this, and I think it was direction. I think that's what was missing from this was direction, some good direction. And Dbith, yes, I agree with you. This one is overhyped. It's going to appeal to people who are going to say that this is the best movie ever. It's not. It really isn't. Um, but hey, if you're enjoying it, more power to you. You found something you liked. Great. When is the extended cut coming? So yeah, that was the other thing, Philip. Jason Momoa said that he actually, I think, started clamoring for a director's cut at one point, and Villeneuve said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" He goes, "This is the director's cut. What I'm putting out on the screen, that is the director's cut." And then later on, there was another article that came out said, "Well, I had to cut a couple of scenes here and there," and I'm like, "So yeah, we're gonna see a director's cut at this point? I don't know." The Snyder cut of Dune, yes. Uh, I agree with you. Applecrow says that would be Chome. That controls all the commerce. Applecrow says my biggest issue is that that they go into so much depth. The parts they skip become glaring. Yes, I can understand what you mean on that. Yeah, I was not a fan of this. And the thing was, I kept getting callbacks to David Lynch's Dune every time. Every now and then there's a line, of course, the classic line from Dune that is said, and it's said with such a lifeless intent to it that I remember it from. I don't know if it was just the Lynch Dune actors were overacting. Well, Patrick Stewart was. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Patrick Stewart. If you're out there, you chewed a lot of fucking scenery in that movie, like a lot of fucking scenery, and I love you for it. Um, but a lot of people gave it 110%. They really just put themselves into it and overacted in some of it. I'm not above saying that the Lynch version is overacted. But honestly, I wanted some of that. I just wanted an 80% overacting into this one, not the 10% of acting that was actually put into it. And again, I think it just all goes into the direction of where these people were getting their direction from. I mean, Javier Bardem was so bored, he actually did most of his scenes lying down, literally lying down. So, so did Oscar Isaac as well, and nude too. He wasn't even able to get into costume, and yeah, he did some of his scenes lying down and naked. So and mute too. Um, the other thing that I have to say is the voiceover for the Lynch movie. A lot of people hate the voiceover for the Lynch movie, but it actually gives you a lot of exposition as to what the fuck's going on, especially if you haven't read the books. And I actually enjoyed that. This one where they're just kind of looking at each other furtively, and you know, you can almost, if you've seen the Lynch movie enough times, you can go, okay, this is what's going on. And then of course Villeneuve cheats a little bit by having Lady Jessica do sign language so she can communicate with Paul and give you that exposition that would normally have been in the voiceover in the Lynch version. So yeah, um, that was the other thing that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, just because I found it a little bit of a cheat, you know. Yeah. The sign language is actually in the book? Okay, so well, that's good, at least. You know, that was kept in there, but still, it did feel like a cheat in a way, you know? So, yeah. Applecross says, "Stellan Skarsgård is so dedicated to the role, he did one of his scenes lying on the ceiling." He did. He did. Yeah. Um Oh, where else we had? I'm looking at the comments at the moment. Applecrest, I wish it had the dinner scene, but that would have put non-book readers to sleep for sure. Okay, I'll you know take your word for that. Applecrest, I give it a 9 out of 10, but as a kid of the '80s, I still like Lynch's Dune more. Lynch's Dune, yes, is complete. You know, from what I understand, it's the complete book. I guess you can say the first book anyway, and I'm okay with that. It actually had a middle, you know, a beginning, middle, and an end, and you see Paul actually grow. I'm not seeing this Paul grow at all. That's the other thing is I just kind of found him stagnant. I know he's a good actor. I've seen him, you know, out there, and I know he's a good actor. This just kind of felt dull to me. It really did. Very, very dull. Um, Penn says, "I would like to rewatch the miniseries, but isn't available to stream anywhere." I know. A lot of people gave the miniseries hate. I never watched the miniseries. It was out on Sci-Fi, if I remember correctly, right? Or Sci-Fi? I think that's what it was. I'll have to go back and see. It's probably out there someplace. Somebody's probably going to put it up on YouTube at some point in time. You know, you know how it is. That's how things go. So for me, it's not worth my time. Your mileage may vary on this one, and there's going to be some people that are going to go, yes, it's worth your time. But for me, no, it was not worth my time. The one viewing was 2.5 hours too much. So I'm okay with not seeing this again. I don't need to see it again. Am I going to see the second movie? Probably, because I'll probably cover it. Is what's going to happen. Am I going to really like it? My expectations are gonna be rock bottom at that point. So, I'll probably be okay with it, but, yeah, it needs to ramp some shit up a little bit. It needs to ramp up some production a little bit more. Not production, just direction. It really does need to ramp up that direction a bit more. And, I don't know, get some gears moving, something. Get that story moving. Stop doing the Enya, slow motion bullshit with wind and sand dunes and whatnot. I mean, honestly, this could have taken place in Scotland and then someplace out in the Mojave Desert. Other than the giant sandworm and some ships and whatnot, honestly, it could have just taken place out, in the real world. Um, And then I know there's the whole, the white savior allegory and stuff like that, and everyone's saying, "Well, in the book, it's supposed to be a deconstruction of the white savior, allegory," and uh, I never read the book, sorry. What I see is when you have brown people that are worshiping white people as someone who's going to be the savior of them, that's a white savior story. That's what I'm seeing here, and, yeah, I'm not seeing the deconstruction of it at this point, so, eh, go figure on that one. Yeah. Abercross says the miniseries is good. The costumes are iconic for being bizarre. Abercross says, "Don't worry. Once part two does well, they'll let JJ do part three." No, he'll end up doing the remake of the first one over again because by that time, yeah, 2023, yeah, they'll be just in time to start doing the remake again on that one. Philip says Lynch version had awesome acting with FX that went ready for the time. Yeah, they were good for the time. I agree with you, Philip. Sci-fi had good FX for the time, but the actors phoned it in. Yeah. This version is what you're talking about. Yeah, it had good. Yeah, it had great special effects, but this was just lifeless acting and lifeless delivery. Um, it was kind of almost like they were relying on the words to prop up their performance, and that is where you have to sell it. I mean, you really have to sell it. And again, that's the director's job to see that and say, you need to sell this a bit more. Give me something better. Take 85. I don't care how hot it is out here. Just, you know, yeah. Albuquerque says Doom Messiah is all about how Paul fucks up the universe. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yes. All worship at the giant butthole. The giant sand butthole. You would think that that would get irritated out in the sand, but, if you ever had sand trapped in your shorts at the beach, you know what I'm talking about. Um, uh, yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail on this one. Okay, it is what it is at this point. There it's falling into 2 camps right now. Honestly, I've seen a couple of reviews. The New Yorkers one is the one that or no, excuse me, the New York Time one is, the one that actually makes me laugh is, he really doesn't even go into, um, like, meanness in it. He just says it's dull and it's flat, and, he kinda goes matter of factly, kind of a dull and flat review of a dull and flat movie, which I thought was pretty funny. Albatross says, "Don't worry, Dennis, everyone gets to be wrong about something." Yeah, that's called disagreement. Ah. Oh god. I am not gonna repeat that, Philip. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's not like anyone even watches this channel anyway, so, there's only a few people that do, so it's not like it's gonna go viral or anything like that. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty much safe. On that note, uh, ah, the work is called, Girthy. I was actually thinking, when you said that, I thought of, What We Do in the Shadows. I just watched the last episode last night, speaking of girth. So, yes, I know I've watched much worse, Pen. That's why I'm not slamming this movie or anything like that. I'm just saying it's lifeless. It it needed a bit more oomph to the delivery. It needed less Enya to it. It needed more focus, I guess you could say, on what you actually wanted the plot to reveal. And you know, especially the whole thing with the emperor pitting two houses against each other. I didn't feel that at all. I mean, I felt like and then also, Oscar Isaac's character, Lord Atreides, coming in and going, "Well, they didn't leave us shit. They took all their equipment with them." Yeah, dude, that's usually what happens when, someone gets kicked off their land and then they give it to somebody else. They're not going to leave their shit behind. They're going to leave you crap. So you need to bring some money into it and, start springing for some better equipment. I don't know. That's just me. You think about business in that way. That there were little things like that for some reason that just kind of, and yes, I know it's in the book, yada yada yada, but still, it just seemed like a reasonable assumption at that point. Apple Crow says, I mean, there is a reason the book has been called unfilmable because even the first book has so much world building that it has appendices and a dictionary. Yeah, I know. I've heard. Yeah. Penn said, I need to watch What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah, you do. You need to watch this last episode, definitely. I mean, I'm almost getting ready to do a spoiler alert on Sunday because of that show, because of that episode. Applegrow says, hence why I feel the need, why this needs to be a big budget TV series. 2.5 hours isn't even enough to cover it. Okay. You think it should have been an HBO Max series then, is what you're thinking, Applecrow? That this could have been done as an HBO Max series and gotten away with it? Because I mean, yeah, I could see that, but then they're not gonna make their money back, and then, of course, you're gonna have a Swamp Thing all over again. Not enough people are going to subscribe to HBO Max in order to make it profitable to do a TV show for it. And where are you gonna put it at that point? I mean it is a Warner Brothers property, so, of course, it's not gonna go to Amazon. It's not gonna go to Netflix. Well, it could, but still. Yeah. Just not Siffy. Siffy. That reminds me, I need to watch, they've been doing their Day of the Dead, uh, you know, series that's based on the Romero movie, and it's so fucking bad. I watched the first episode, and I couldn't believe how bad it actually was. I haven't even watched the Chucky one. I was gonna watch the first episode of the Chucky one. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It would be hilarious to see a CW Dune. Yeah, it'd be mostly hallways, which would actually work for Dune, honestly. You could have the stone caves and hallways, and each hallway would look the same. And I think it could work. I think it could work. And then they'd blow half their budget on one episode of because of I'm talking about the entire season, half the season's budget on one 10-minute segment in the episode where they show a sandworm. Uh, Alcor says it can't be worse than the Sun's books. Herbert's son. Yeah, I've heard that those are bad too. So yeah, again, I haven't read any of this stuff. I'm sorry, but it just didn't appeal to me. It really didn't. The movie was just enough where I was like, all right, I don't need to read that book. Especially since I had heard from enough people when I was growing up about Dune and the appendices, the dictionary, and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, 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 that's just way too much effort to put into a book at that point. Give me the story. If you can't give me the story easily, or yeah, if you can't find a way to give me that story without, having to learn another language, then nah, I'm good. Applecrust says, I suggest reading Brian Herbert's books because it automatically will make every other book better. Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm okay. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Philip says, I'm looking forward to Black Friday in a few weeks, the new Bruce Campbell movie. Oh, yes. I'll be talking about that on Saturday. Philip. Zombies and Christmas do go together. They really do. So, and of course, you add Bruce Campbell in there, and you add Michael Jai White in there as well, which I was that was the kicker for me on that one, was Michael Jai White being in that trailer. So yeah. Anyway, Penn says I read the books and didn't need a dictionary or appendices. Okay, all right. So, what else do I have going on this week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Thursday is Doom Patrol. That's right. Doom Patrol is back on Thursday. Friday, I'm also off. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend or genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Sunday, I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm doing spoiler alert. Depends on if I'm doing some more looking at places to live or not. Monday will be the season finale and the series finale of the first season of Why the Last Man. And then Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it'll be season 2 of Lock and Key. That's right, Lock and Key on Netflix. Season 2 is out. If you're not watching it, you should be. So there we go. And that's Pepper drinking water over there that you can hear in the background. So that's that little lapping up of water is. Apple Crow says, I actually blame Kevin J. Anderson more for the new books being shit. Kevin J. Anderson did write a really good Krypton book um, about the last days of Krypton. I think that's what it's called, the last days. I've got it around here someplace, and that actually wasn't a bad book, to tell you the truth. So, Mark says, "Are you considering? Is it worth my time? The Invasion series? No, I'm not. It's on Apple TV Plus. I refuse. I refuse to get a subscription to Apple TV Plus. I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. It looks like a mystery box is really what it does. It looks like a mystery box. Every time I look at the trailer for it, I'm just like, yeah, it's just one big mystery box. That's really what it is. So I can't bring myself to actually watch it. But I am really interested in, and if you go to my Facebook page, I actually dropped the latest trailer to Cowboy Bebop on the live action Cowboy Bebop on Netflix, and that looks fucking fantastic. That one I'm actually really jazzed about. There's a lot of good shit coming out around my birthday, which is awesome. So, yes, definitely looking forward to that. And I will be covering that one. Definitely. I'll have to do it as worth my time because, of course, they're dropping it all at once again. And that's what everyone wants. They want everything all at once. Yeah. I can't do it episode by episode, unfortunately. So, thanks, Pen. That's right. Let's wrap this stuff up while we can, because I'm going almost as long as the movie now at this point. Um, it's your birthday next week. What do you want, Mork? Do you want another? Do you want Teen Titans or Titans poster for season 4? I might be able to get one of those for you. I know you love it. It has been renewed for a season 4 just for you. But also, on the good side is that Doom Patrol has actually been renewed for a season 4 as well. So I'm good on that one. So thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching. Yes, all those nasty videos that you've been looking at and tries to match them as best as possible. One of the videos of my vast video library and pops up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified, hit that bell down below. It's an 80-20 chance that YouTube won't notify you when I come on live. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. It's all there. Yeah. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everybody. This has been special, of course, because, we get to talk about Dune and, yeah, whatever. It's been a long week already. Yes, trust me. Every week seems to be a long week now. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again on Thursday for Doom Patrol. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get chased through the desert by a giant butthole because it's irritated by all the sand that it's been crawling through and it's very, very angry at you. Why you? Who knows? Maybe it knows that you have lotion in your back pocket and it needs it. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Thursday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well, and stay safe out there. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Thursday. Have a good night and a good Wednesday as well. Good night, everybody.